Next mean comment comes from Hector, who says, same way you think your deep voice, arrogant attitude, having no class or honor portraying think you can beat Bruce Lee. I think with 12 weeks of just Western boxing, I'll you up. I'm built just like Tyson. 6 feet tall, 220 pounds. According to your I should quite easily. This in reply to a video about martial arts for self-defense. Huh, okay. So, Hector. That means he's shorter than me. He's about 12 pounds heavier. And he just found out what boxing is. And he's trying to pick fights on the internet in the name of Bruce Lee. Because he doesn't like the sound of my voice. Huh. That's about the gist of it. Okay. I get some weird comments on my channel from time to time, but this one requires some context to understand, and I didn't get the context. Next. Our next comment comes from another guy named Doug, who says, I think it's cute you think MMA fighters train for combat. Most block with their face. It's a sport. And just like any other sport, they train to perform within established rules. Like being protected by a ref and tapping out when your feelings get hurt. Because that's why professional fighters tap out in fights, because their feelings get hurt. Clearly this man knows what he's talking about. Thanks for the tips, Doug. Our friend Cory says, this guy is a Wushu Kung Fu has a huge following in China. Really? I've lived in China for a decade. And my life experience has shown me that's actually not true. But let's go on. Cory says, Kung Fu is taught in public schools. Not in China, it's not. Let's go on. Do your research properly before you open your mouth. All you do is put down other martial arts and think yours is the best in the world. So egotistical. You would get flogged in a real fight. So sick of your sincerely. No, he didn't say the sincerely part. It's fascinating how when presented with information that contradicts our existing beliefs, our gut-wrench reaction is to reject it. Not just reject it, but violently and angrily reject it. People hate hearing that they're wrong. And this was a comment on a video I did about the state of Kung Fu in China right now. And it was very different than what I thought it was before I moved to China. Way, way different. So different than how it's portrayed in the media. And I'm not just talking about Kung Fu movies, but there's this idea in America about how Kung Fu is in China that is absurd when you see the reality of how it is. Do my research first, my friend. Man, I have lived in the People's Republic of China for a decade. I have traveled across the country. I have trained in that country. I have trained with every martial artist I could find who had a meaningful degree of skill and something to teach and offer. I have climbed all of the high mountains with the temples and the monks on top. And guess what? There are no secrets outside of work hard and get out there and train. Do my homework first. In a real fight, I would get flogged. You know what? There is always somebody better than you in a real fight, and I've fought plenty of those guys. Man, I've taken my licks in real fights. I never ever turned down a professional fight that I was offered, regardless of the weight class, regardless of the opponent. I fought multiple national Sanda champions in China. I fought actual legitimate Kung Fu experts in China. I trained with legitimate Kung Fu experts in China. It's kind of an impassioned reply as opposed to a funny one like many of the others, but I think it's important to say that. This isn't ego. This is experience. This is I was there and I did that thing. Pay attention, man. Pay attention. Don't make stuff up that you don't know about because of your preconceived notions about it. Do your homework, my friend. Next. Blake says, why the fake accent? Was I doing a fake accent? Okay, this was on my video about that girl who dodged bullets, supposedly. Fake accent. Was I doing like a fake Australian accent? Good day, mate. Are you whinging on me? I don't know, I'm a terrible fake Australian. No, I don't think I was doing that. Let's see, what other fake accents can I do? Man, I'm terrible at fake accents. What's an accent? Let's do like a redneck accent. How do they talk? So we was down by the creek doing some fishing, and then we decided to wash our clothes in the water. And then, yeah, that's a terrible fake accent too. Was I speaking like that? Yeah, I don't think so. Next. DR says, this bald-headed guy is a phony. This bald-headed guy is a phony. Please don't listen to him. You can give yourself better advice than this skinny guy. You probably can. If you think about it hard enough, look introspectively within yourself. That's not bad advice, man. You can give yourself better advice than this skinny guy. Yeah, man, I kind of like that. I dig that. Okay. I'm going to ponder on that for a bit. You can give yourself better advice than that talking head on the internet. You probably can, and you should, because that voice, that voice inside of you that gives you advice, ultimately, that is the only one you're going to follow. So I could give you gold or I could give you garbage up here. And it might motivate you temporarily to do something, but ultimately, the only advice you're going to listen to is your own. Not bad, my friend, not bad. Next. John says, why do you try so hard to act like you're Chinese? And what the facial expressions and stuff? You're a... Okay. Why do I try so hard to act like I'm Chinese? With my facial expressions? do I look Chinese? Now, I know China has, like 17 minority groups, even though the overwhelming majority of the people there are Han Chinese, you know, the people with the black hair and the brown eyes and what they describe themselves as yellow skin. Yeah, that is how they describe their color. But yeah, China has a number of minority groups like the Uyghurs, a Caucasian group over in the northwest of China, and many others. And I don't know, they're all technically Chinese. They're all Chinese citizens, even though they're not Han Chinese. So I don't know. I don't believe I look Chinese, and I can't think of any specific iconic Chinese facial expressions, let alone iconic Chinese facial expressions that I'm apparently trying so hard to use. That's a weird question. What do you think, guys? Just staring at my facial expressions here. What? I'm not seeing it, but I can't, man. I can't.